Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to be doing the new moon reading for the sign of Scorpio. Alright, this is the July new moon. It's going to be for the next 28-day cycle, new moon to new moon. And new moon readings are all about new beginnings, tying off old stages, starting new stages, right, in your life. Could be new relationships, new jobs, movement, you know. Also closing off, right? So part of new things is closing off old ones, right? So we're going to get right into it with your animal spirit card. I'm going to find out which one that is in just a minute, Scorpio. And that's going to be from the Wild Unknown Animal Oracle deck. Show me what spirit animal is walking with our lovely Scorpios this new moon period. Show me. Alright, Scorpio, your card for this new moon period is going to be the Owl. Wow. Beautiful. So, air energy, right? Very wise, knowing, obviously, right? I mean, what else, you know, what do we associate with the owl, right? Being able to see in the dark, right? So, certainly being able to see in places where others aren't, right? Having a little bit of almost like clairvoyance, it can be. A little bit of ESP. You know, the owl, you know, because they hunt at night, right? In the dark is dark, you know, so that it makes you think of having extrasensory perception more than just being able to see in the dark, right? There's a knowingness to owls that just seems to go beyond the regular senses, right? There's a mysteriousness to the owl, really, kind of almost as if it came from another world, you know. It's mostly an omen when the owl comes up that you're about to get a big amount of abundance or a surprise, a nice surprise though, you know, something you would almost think like something that you treasure, right? It could be spiritual, it could be material, but it's like gaining something. It doesn't, so I say treasure because it doesn't necessarily have to be actual cash, right? But it's like something is coming into you that is like, you consider it like a fortune or a treasure or something that you really are so grateful to have, right? The owl is definitely an omen spirit animal, you know. It's where some spirit animals are all about, you know, the energy that they provide to you. The owl is more or less talks about where you're at in terms of your life, right? And so it brings along with it kind of omens. Certainly, it seems to suggest that you've got wisdom right now, that you're kind of open to seeing these things as well. You're open to seeing extra messages. You're open to seeing sort of, like symbols, or you may hear, right, hear a certain song and understand that's a message, or you may see something, right, see like a certain car or something like that, right, that you know for you is kind of like an omen or like a sign that, you know, things are kind of going your way, right? I mean, the universe is kind of going your way. That can happen. It's like those type of things that a lot of people say, oh, wow, isn't that a coincidence that I saw such and such today, or I saw so-and-so today, right? Or that this happened, and I was just thinking about that. Isn't that such a coincidence? Well, a lot of times those can be omens, and so when you have owl energy, you're very open to seeing that and realizing it at the moment, right? And so gaining from the benefit of understanding that. Yeah, it's a really, really beautiful card to have. It just indicates a really beautiful time. Certainly can indicate a new stage in your life, Scorpio, because, like I said, it's an omen of really, really beautiful things to come. Something that you treasure. And like I say, it could be like spiritual awareness that you know. It could be like an emotional understanding. It could be material, but whatever it is that's coming in is something that you truly value. All right, so let's see what it's all about in your spread. We're gonna get right into it with the usual, the Deviant Moon deck. I love this deck for my lunar readings because it is sort of moon inspired in a lot of ways. the energies, and also the imagery and symbolism on these decks tend to emphasize the moon aspect of all things. Oh, we got a flipped over card here. Interesting. See if that one comes out later. So, show me what's going on with Scorpio. We want to get a nice clear reading for Scorpio this new moon period. What's coming into their life with this owl energy? It's very mysterious yet exciting owl energy. Show me. All right, Scorpio, let's get ready to do your spread. And if you're a regular here, you've seen my other lunar readings, full moon and new moon readings. You know how we do this. Go around in a circle. It indicates kind of the progression over the 28-day cycle. We go in each card in turn, take each card and slowly unravel the story that's going to unfold for you. And then we'll get into the aspects of the cards and see what's what. In the center, Scorpio, you've got 4 of Pentacles covered by 9 of Pentacles. So certainly talking about abundance coming in. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant oftentimes can be a doubling down of your commitment to your spiritual center, right? Let me see where I'll put it over here. You can see it here, right? It can be a doubling down of your spiritual center, a recommitment to your belief system, whatever that is, your faith, your spirituality. Even if you're not a spiritual person, if you're not necessarily have any one faith, it's whatever your system of beliefs are, right? Everyone has a code or a system of beliefs, right? They may not have sat down and wrote them out or have them, specifically put down into words as a guideline, right? But they have them. And it's a system of belief that we employ when we make decisions about things, right? When we decide which way to go, how to treat people, how to judge people. All of that is part of our sort of system of belief. And oftentimes when a Hierophant shows up, it can mean that you're kind of recommitting yourself, or often it can also mean that what's going on in your life right now is making you kind of question what you've held on to for quite some time, right? It can also be a case of saying, hang on a second, is the system of beliefs, or what I always thought to be right, is that really true? Is that really right? Maybe I need to rethink this and adjust, right? According to my experience now that I'm out in the world living. As opposed to just going with what you're raised, right? Oftentimes we're raised with a set of beliefs that no longer apply to us when we're older. And so we have to adjust. So that's some energy that's there. And we'll get back to the Hierophant and see how that card plays in. But at the center, you have the 4 of Pentacles. So 4 is the number for stability. So 4 of Pentacles can often mean for making money for money's sake, right? Being so focused on maintaining stability that oftentimes you can become a workaholic, or you could become a miser, you can hold on to every little penny, right? Workaholic energy is more like perhaps 8 of Pentacles, but 4 of Pentacles certainly is once you've made money, any little money you have, you're holding on to it. You have a really unhealthy attachment to money. I mean, even in this card, you can see that death is taking this emperor or this king, it looks like, or leader away, and he's clutching his 4 coins and looking back at his fortune that he's leaving behind that he can't carry with him. And of course it's ridiculous because none of it will go with him, but yeah, he holds on quite stubbornly. Now that can also, I'm not saying that this is you, Scorpio, but it can be that right now you're really worried about, not worried, but you're concerned about maintaining your stability, right? Something could be going on in your life right now. You're kind of like, hang on, let me hold on to my money. Things may be changing, jobs, money, sources of income. However, crossing that, you do have the 9 of Pentacles. And the 9 of Pentacles is very much that kind of like energy. This person is very, very resourceful, right? This 9 of Pentacles character is very resourceful. He's attained a certain level of status and abundance, right? That will carry him on, right? He's gotten to that kind of level where he knows fairly for certain well, barring any certain catastrophe, right? But for the most part, his status is kind of assured at being at least comfortable or better, right? But he's probably on his way to having much more abundance on a regular basis, right? All the coins and the nice, the nice clothing and everything seems to suggest that this person has really arrived, right? However, this person is alone. And in nines, we do emphasize being alone, being solitary. Nine, of course, is hermit energy, right? So in Nine of Pentacles, he's made it. He makes his money, but he is also acutely aware that he's alone. And part of that is kind of like, not so happy. It's like he starts to realize in Nine of Pentacles that to truly have abundance, you have to be sharing it with someone. All right, so this could be for a Scorpio who's single. Seven of Pentacles is here, so you're definitely in the back of your mind reevaluating your goals and your dreams for your life. It's coming to a you Hanged Man. Yeah, you've been feeling like you've been stuck, I think, for quite some time. And right now, you're very much thinking in the back of your head. You're kind of looking over all your achievements. And you're like, is this where I want to be? Or, do I want to, do I want to change what my goals are, right? Because here, it's like, the character is seeing the fruit that's bloomed, right? Those are the pentacles. She sees the fruit of her labor, but she's kind of trying to decide, which one shall I pick? Do I like them even? Am I happy with the fruit that I've grown, right? And so in this way, it's very much like 7 is the number for dreams and goals and aspirations, also surprises. But certainly 7 is the number that indicates areas where we form our dreams, where we affirm our dreams, our aspirations and goals. And so in 7 of Pentacles, she's attained some of her goals. She's reached some of her dreams. She sees the fruit of her labor, but now she's kind of reconsidering if that's actually what she wanted. Oftentimes you have a goal and then you work towards that goal, and that by the time you reach that goal, you realize that you're actually, it's not what you need anymore. Right? The goal, the objective that you've achieved, right, is not really giving you the satisfaction that you thought it would, or it's not satisfying something in you like you thought you would when you first had it in mind. Perhaps the person you were when you started on your journey, right, would have been satisfied with that goal, but oftentimes not. It's just the way the universe works. Oftentimes not, that when you work towards a certain goal, that journey is so transforming that when you reach there, you realize the goal was pretty much, it was unimportant because it's no longer applies to the person you are then. And that's why people always talk about the experience and the lessons is in the journey and not the destination, because almost always the journey makes the destination a moot point, because by the time you get there, you're a completely different person. And so here's the Hanged Man coming in, right? An unmovable force, much like the High Priestess. Both of them are the 2s, 2 and 12. But the Hanged Man is quite interesting, because the Hanged Man is usually stuck, but he's not stuck. He's comfortable. This Hanged Man is very comfortable. He's hanging there with one foot. He has the clock hanging, the stop clock, the pocket watch under hanging off of his other heel, right? So he's poised, he's comfortable, he feels like he's in balance, he's hanging fairly in balance. He has time on his side. That's how he sees it. He has time on his side. So he can just hang out and wait, and he will hang out and wait and stay in that state, in that position, what we from the outside seem to think is a stuck position. But honestly, the Hanged Man just kind of hangs around until he gets something in his vision or something comes into his life that makes him want to move. Until something comes into his life that gives him inspiration. It makes him feel like he wants to now do more, do better, right? Get out of where he's at, make an effort. Right? The lazy kind of comfortable Hanged Man energy, which is really what it is oftentimes, is also quite stubborn. And stubborn in a very Scorpion way, too, funnily enough, because it's not so much that they're stuck, because the Scorpion is never stuck. A Scorpio is never stuck. A Scorpio will move when he moves. Just like, you know, you ever see a Scorpio? You ever see a Scorpio stuck? However, they will stay. They will stay in one position for quite some time if it's comfortable enough for them. They don't feel like there's anything that's worth moving for, or making an effort for, or changing for, or adjusting for, right? But the Hangman does come out once that object or whatever it is, that person, desire, objective has come into your life. That's when the Hanged Man comes in. So you're woke now, Scorpio, and you realize it. You realize that you're woke now. You're slowly coming out of this. Something's slowly starting to make you want to move and reanalyze your future goals. You're kind of reevaluating what your goals are for the future. It's quite interesting. Certainly something is happening though right now that's taking your attention because of this worry about remaining stable financially, and of course that's something you have to take care of. The moon energy is coming in. So quite recently you were in a it's interesting. Most recently, I think you felt like you were in a space where you weren't getting the whole picture. You weren't really understanding everything that was going on. Perhaps you're dealing with someone or a group of people, and you just felt a little bit manipulated, only in the sense that you're not getting the whole picture, right? You're not getting all the information. So it seems to be quite moon energy, and as much as you feel like you're getting just as much as you need to know, but you want to know more about what's going on, right? And so you know that's I think it's piquing your interest. I think it's one of the reasons why the Hanged Man has woken up. There you go. You've got 2 of Pentacles coming in. Oh, Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. So 2 of Pentacles is coming in certainly over this Hanged Man. So something's woken you up, right? You feel like you want to do something, change in some way, move towards someone or something, whether it's a goal or a person. But now, covering the energy of this kind of like 2 of Pentacles, you feel like you're kind of juggling two decisions, 2 possibilities, right? Certainly 2 possibilities when it comes to finances, when it comes to how you're going to make your money. It could be that whatever's happened and caused this like kind of like desire to remain stable right now, using this kind of energy, this resourceful energy that you have here, right, is now maybe... Now you're bringing in, and also you've quite woken up most recently. It could be that these money issues have woken you up to realizing that you need to make a little bit of a change, right? Because it's all Pentacles here. So it could be that, you know, whatever this scenario is, wherever you're bringing your money in, whether it's your career, whether it is your business, right, or your art, or whatever way that you make your money has destabilized a little bit. Something has happened to make you want to bring stability back. And so you're starting to reevaluate, and you're certainly moving out of a period where you may have been quite comfortable. And I think you're going to come into a period where you're going to have multiple options now that you're juggling, right? Multiple options for making money, right? For getting out of this space of, you know, worrying about your money being unstable, or your livelihood, your wealth, your abundance being unstable for some reason. You've got Ace of Pentacles, so there's definitely going to be a really big opportunity coming in for you to make some money, perhaps to even change what you're doing altogether. And, you know, it could be a change of career, it could be a change of job, right? Not career, but you could be moving jobs that give you more money, bring more money in, right? Some kind of change is coming in, some kind of juggling as well, but certainly this offer on top of all of that comes in. And this is a big offer. This could make you not need to have to juggle all of these other kind of options right now, right? So this is certainly a new period for you right now. You are coming into a new period because right now you're certainly adjusting to some kind of shift that happened here that's made you come out of your Hanged Man. And this is all to do with money, certainly. Don't be eight of Swords, so be careful. Don't be too hasty. Don't be too hasty. Don't play victim either. You know, be careful of victim energy. Don't you play victim, or don't you deal with people who play kind of victim. 8 of Swords is this kind of like, oh, you can see from the character. They're like, oh, look, save me. You know, I'm about to land on these swords. But this character is perfectly able to pull themselves back inside the window. There's nothing pushing them out. You know, it's just their own behavior that's being reckless, right? So this is the reckless card. This is the victim card. This is the this is my, I call it my gaslighting card. You know, this is the card also where like when you're dealing with people, you know, they say, well, I wouldn't act this way if you wouldn't do what you do, right? They blame you for their actions somehow, and they justify that, which is ridiculous. You know, you're responsible for your own actions, right? You can't blame what somebody else does. You know, for your, you can't blame your actions on them, right? It's just a cop out. And so it's a victim energy right now. This is coming in. It could be that somebody in your life is acting like this with you. Right now that you've got money coming in, it could be that somebody is being like, oh, help me, you know, I can't help myself. You need to help, you know, help me out. Someone, you know what I mean? Somebody in your life is going to see that maybe you're taking control of the situation, and they may try to play on your feelings. They may try to play like the victim, like, oh, you know, how, you know, whatever you're, you know, it could be that as a result of what you know, you may be in the business, right? And, you know, there may have been something that's happened in this business, and you had to now, you know, like say for instance, if you run a company and your workers, you find out that your workers are taking money from you or something like that, right? And you find out that, and now you're tightening the reins, and you're realizing that your business is going to suffer if you let it continue. And so you start changing, right? Being more proactive, changing the way maybe you manage, right? Again, things have been happening that you weren't aware of, and you're realizing that, you know. So then you're juggling certain options, and new options come in that bring, you know, that make you even more have more choices, right? Now, it could be also that as a result of the changes that you make in your business. In this example, for instance, you may have workers who say, oh, but come on, you know, don't be so hard on us. Don't, you know, why you need to put cameras in? You know, they may play kind of victim, you know, like as if that you should not be looking out for yourself, right? So just watch out for that. It's people who are going to play on your sympathies. But, you know, if this is the way you make your money and somebody else is fucking it up, then you need to deal with it. You know, and then if later on that same person who was messing it up and you need to deal with then starts crying baby and starts saying, well, hang on a second, you owe me, or you have an obligation to me, that's all part of this kind of Eight of Swords energy. So just watch out for that. Certainly with the owl being on your side, you're going to see that because your extrasensory perception right now is really quite high. King of Cups is coming in. After all of this, you come to a nice kind of like love thing, right? You want to offer your cup of love to somebody, but you're offering stability. Like you're offering to be the king, you know, not the knight. The Knight of Cups is like he runs in, he runs out. He's on his prancy little horse. He prances in, he prances out. You know, he's very romantic. He may sweep you off your feet, but he's got no staying power and he's got no commitment. Here, it's interesting. It's like you're very busy with finances, right? You're very busy with your business or whatever it is that makes you your money, making sure that's tied down, making sure it's stable. And it's almost as if you're doing all of this because you want to take your cup and give it to somebody on a real, like, deep commitment level. And you want your house to be in order before you move towards them. Could be that they're moving towards you also, right? So vice versa, you know. If you are the king, if you are like a male, like, and I think in this scenario, right, if you're a man, Scorpio, if this reading is for you, then you're doing all of this to prepare to move forward. If you're a female, then you've done all of this and somebody is moving forward to you, because the person who's moving here is very masculine energy, right? So even if it's not gender, right? It doesn't have to be gender. It could be same sex, right? It could be same sex, but it's the masculine one who's moving forward, right? It's the masculine one who's either coming in, or if you're the masculine energy right now, you're moving forward, right? Scorpio is by nature very masculine energy anyway, whether you're male or female. So it tends to make me feel here, certainly I feel intuitively very much like it's you preparing all of this because you're wanting to move forward to someone, whether you're female or male. We have here the Fool. right? So the Fool shows up. The Fool is always you, the Quarant, right? I always say the Fool is nowhere on the Tree of Life, to which, you know, the Tree of Life is primarily what the tarot is based on. I mean, that's one school of thought. There's a lot of schools of thought, but honestly, there's overwhelming evidence that it's primarily connected to the Tree of Life. But the Fool card, quite interestingly, is nowhere on the Tree of Life, and that is quite purposeful because his number is 0, right? And it's not associated with anything really except the nothingness and the ultimate nothingness and the absolute ultimate nothingness, which is something different. But the 0 adds to the 1 at the top and becomes the 10. So all the 10 spots on the Tree of Life is where the Fool constantly moves, right? Constantly ascends and descends. So oftentimes when the Fool shows up, it very much means you. It's you on your life path. And it indicates for you to be very conscientious because your life is about to take a big turn, a big change. A new stage is about to happen. But it requires you to be very conscious of it and very in the moment for you to get the most out of it, right? Don't just carry on like a fool in a way, right? You know, be conscious, you know, of what's going on around you, because right now something is happening that's quite important in your path, in your life path, in your kind of, I guess if you believe in destiny or fate or whatever, your karmic path, your destiny in this lifetime, whatever stage is about to happen, whatever turn or new journey you're about to take, is one that you need to be very conscious of, because it's a journey that's very much connected to your karmic and your soul moving, like your soul evolving, right? Your soul also changing, learning is very much tied in. You know, burning off karma is very much tied in with this new stage of your life, this turning of your life, this ending of one stage and starting of a new stage, right? It's a lot to do with your kind of elevated destiny, not just your destiny in this lifetime, but your overall destiny that your spirit is, you know, attached to. It may be an event that you've orchestrated up in the spirit realm, right? Before you came into this life. Could be oftentimes that this next stage, when a Fool shows up, it's one of such importance. It's one that you've already, you've prepared for it earlier, as it were. You know, it's not just one of chance that's come to you as a result of your actions, but this is something that's almost pre-planned and preordained by you, right? Oftentimes a lot of people have that philosophy in terms of where these messages come from. So just be very conscious. This change is very significant. You're going to come out of this worry about money certainly stronger. And I think this is also why, again, we get now to the Hierophant, because you're changing, right? You've come out of Hanged Man here. Whatever it is that's, I believe that this, wherever you're moving towards, is what has kind of caused your Hanged Man to wake up, along with this desire to be stable. And it could be that you're moving towards someone or something that is unusual for you, that's making you kind of reevaluate what you've always believed in, or what you've always thought or felt about yourself, or how you relate to others. And so I think this whole process is also kind of you reevaluating your, you know, who you are, you know, reevaluating. This goes, you know, kind of with the Seven of Pentacles as well. Reevaluating who you are, and it's certainly the Fool. What you desire, what your hopes and dreams are, and kind of by definition as well, like what your system of beliefs are in terms of, you know, what you believe about yourself now, what you believe about other people now. Now, my example could be that before you may have held on to the belief that people don't change, and maybe now you realize that people do. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing, you know. You know, you may have held on to before you may have held on to the fact that there's only a certain kind of partner that you can be with, and now you realize other parts of yourself, and you realize there are other types of partners that you actually enjoy being with as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's that kind of changing of things that you've always kind of held on to as being truths in a way, and realizing that they aren't really ultimate truths. They're just a truth at a certain time, right? It's a truth at that time, but it's not an absolute truth. And so you'd start to see and begin to change and realize that you can evolve, that you can grow. It's a very beautiful time for you, Scorpio. I'm going to call it. This is your new moon reading for July 2019. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite purposeful. And like I say, with Al, Al is indicating that you have something coming into you that you're going to really treasure and be happy for, grateful for, that you will cherish. And I think it could very well be abundance coming in, new opportunities for abundance and another level of stability. And whatever love, or relationship that you are here moving towards, right? That's making you want to do all of this so that when you present yourself, you're presenting yourself as a king to this person or to this relationship that you want to have, right? And when you get it, I think you will feel very much like you got a treasure, or you got something that you would cherish, perhaps something that you didn't know you could have, but you have now. All right, so this is it. Let me know how this sounds to you. If you resonate with this, sound off below in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share. Do all of that good stuff for me so that my channel can grow and I can keep giving you these videos. I do get a lot of comments back that it resonates with you out there, and a lot of appreciations, and I appreciate that very much, because that's the only reason I'm here. I'm only here to help and to give insight, and to be motivational at all times, to be motivational. Sometimes the picture isn't pretty. I don't paint a pretty picture if it isn't there, but there's always hope, and there's always a way through, right? And that's what the tarot is really for, to get clarity and to find a better way through so that we can be our best and our ultimate good, right? And so in that way, I hope that these readings are motivational for you indeed. Okay, so if you'd like to get a private reading, just follow that link at the bottom of your screen. But for right now, I love you, Scorpios. Have a wonderful new moon period. Bye-bye.